Coach Driving Diaries number 5, the Dartmoor and Coastal Devon tour. So this is a bit different. This isn't the usual one day out. No, this is 5 days on one of Chandler's own holiday programs. So this takes in Dartmoor and South Devon. So I won't go through the itinerary because we'll be here forever. So take it day by day. So let's start off with day 1, which is going from the yard to the hotel in Dawlish via a stop at Exeter. So Monday morning, getting up at just past 6 a.m. Not due off till 10, but got lots of stuff to do yet. Usual routine: have a shave, put the kettle on and make a coffee, and then have some cereal, and then it's the last bit of packing and all that, and then set off in the car off to the yard. And then about, I don't know, it's probably got a couple of hours later on at the depot, starting the coach up, put the card in, do the walk round check. You know the drill by now if you've watched these before. And now setting up the Hanover display using code 88. This will show Dartmoor and Coastal Devon. There we are, there it is on the front. And then took the coach out of the garage and put it outside the front. Last minute preparations, open the lockers and then await the taxis. These are the home feeders that we do for these tours. Door to door service. So didn't do any filming for that. It's all a bit frantic. So skipping ahead now, we're leaving the yard. Got our first passengers on, and going to make our way to the next stop, which is at Warminster Services. We'll be meeting a couple of other taxi feeders there as well. But I had decided to use the shorter route to Warminster, but already had a look at the bus times, and this did coincide with the first bus D1 service to Bath going the opposite way through the bus gate. So get a bit time conscious now, just been looking at the clock, and I didn't think I was going to quite make it through the bus gate as the bus was due through. Could have made it, I think, but it's best to wait here. So it was only a couple of minutes and there the service bus came through. So pulled out the bus stop, just waiting for a gap the other side there so I can put out safely without mounting the curb, and then take the left down Slag Lane and through the bus gate. I mean, you can just pull off to the left there sometimes to let the bus come through, but that's only needs must moments. It's a bit tight there, and you certainly don't want to meet it anywhere at this point. So after the pickup at Warminster, we'll fast forward now to the last pickup, which is at Cartgate Services, and there was also a little break stop for the passengers as well. Only 20 minutes here. Didn't need a taco break at this point, but gives me a bit of a leg stretch before we forward on towards Exeter. Route to Exeter is simply enough, just along the A303 and the A30. First part of the 303 is just motor along the dual carriageway, and here we are on the second part of the 303, which is the hilly and twisty part as it runs along the Blackdown Hills. And further down we join the A30, and here we are on the last part of this A30 into Exeter. On the right is Exeter Airport. Not that you can see much, there's trees in the way there. And then at the end of the A30 we pass under the M5 and onto the A3015 heading towards the city. So we're going to drop at the official point at South Street. So from this side, the most easiest route really is down this road on the B3183 Forward onto Heavy Tree Road, a second exit onto Paris Street, a first left onto Queen Street, a right onto Paul Street, a left onto North Street, forward onto South Street, and then sit down at this dedicated drop-off bay. So they'll have a couple of hours here, so I'm going to head to the coach park. As you can see signed just there, it's off to the left. And it's at this moment here that I realised the left was a lot closer than I expected. It's left at these traffic lights, so I'm in completely the wrong lane. Now, I had a choice here. I could just be an idiot and just barge into the traffic, but I went straight on. Only I know this road, having done it on railroad placement before, so I know I can turn off and use a roundabout to come back up the road. So it's no dramas. I'm not going to run out of driving time, and I'm going to have plenty of break at the coach park anyway. It's only going to be a 5-minute delay that I could not done without, but there we are. These things happen sometimes, and you know, I can get out of it easily. It's no drama. So around the roundabout, back up the road, and then turn right onto the road I was supposed to be on in the first place, and then turning right into the coach park, finally making it. So parked up and paid the £10 or so parking fee, which cost me for a couple of hours, and then time to chill out and have a coffee as well. And a bit later on, got the folder out. It's a part of the schedule sheet. This is something that I type up myself at home. It's just got some useful notes and timings that I've worked out as well. So just calling the hotel in a moment, just to confirm the arrival time, dinner times, and the porterage, and I'll scribble this down on a bit of spare paper. And then later on, it's time to go back to the pickup point. The route to get here is a slightly different route because of the one-way systems. So work it up to Exeter St David's Station, and then double back down, but then left and heading towards Queen Street by Exeter Central, mostly because that road you can see there looks a bit like a direct road you can't get down, mostly because it's a one-way street at the end on the Iron Bridge, and even if it wasn't one way, you'd never go over the Iron Bridge anyway. It's a 3-ton maximum weight limit, and it's a 6 foot 1.8 metre width limit as well. On the last leg now, basically it's just the A379. This is not far away from Exeter, it's only about 10-12 miles, so only takes about half an hour to get there. And the last town we passed through is Starcross. Haven't driven through here before, been through here many times on the train, and never done the ferry either, which goes along the estuary to Exmouth, and get some nice views with the sea on the left as well. The only thing is this awkward pinch point I wasn't looking forward to, but wasn't too bad to navigate. Got to get used to this bit because it'd be come through here on pretty much most of the days out. And here we are at the hotel, arriving at about 4 PM, a little bit later than I planned, which is about 10 to 4, so 10 minutes late isn't too bad, all in good time. So, haven't been here before, and none of our drivers have been here before either, so trying to figure out a way of dropping off passengers in the bags. Could have reversed in, maybe, might have been a bit tight with the way the cars are parked, certainly not getting outside the front door, so decided just to drive in as close as I can get, sort the bags out, and then try and figure out where they want me afterwards. So it's just easier to do it when everyone's off out the way. I've got time to suss things out then. So with the bags unloaded and everyone checked into the hotel, I was informed by the manager where the parking was, so discovered it was the top part of the car park. So best way to get around there was to do a reverse turn and then go through the bottom of the top car park and then round the tree and into the overflow car park, which is where the coaches have been parked up. So a bit tight, but doable. It's just minding the tree on the last bit. All parked up and locked up, and then it's time to walk down to the hotel and check in, find the room, unpack, and yeah, generally relax and get ready before dinner. And very impressed with the room. Air conditioning, TV that sort of worked if it wasn't BBC One, not that much of an issue, and plenty of storage spaces, and very nice bathroom and shower as well. And then after dinner, just take a stroll around the grounds, just taking the nice view here at the bottom of the grounds. Very nice, and some woodlands as well. Had a walk through. But that brings a close to day 1, so now we shall move on to day 2. And this involves an excursion to Torquay and Paignton. So after breakfast, I've gone to start up the coach. Obviously put the taco on and let the air build up, and then go outside and do the walk round check. So what I haven't quite figured out is how I was going to pick up the passengers from the front of the hotel. It looked possible to do the route that I did into the coach park in reverse order, i.e. not reversing around but driving around, but I wasn't really sure, and I was thinking that maybe if I took this road off to the left heading out to the exit but then reversing backwards to the front of the hotel, if that was actually any easier. I mean, it looked it, but at the end of this road there's some plant pots that just seem there on the left, which was making it a bit difficult. So we'll fast forward this bit because it did take quite a while. There's quite a few slow manoeuvrers here, just watching the bushes on the right and making sure I'm not hitting anything on the left as well. Doing it slowly because it's quite difficult to see the way that the sun is on the right, and obviously it's a dark shadow on the left, so can't really see that well. I'm only moving until I can actually properly see what's going on in the mirrors. But decided I won't do this exit again, that's for sure. So the route to Torquay wasn't too bad. It was just following the A379. A couple of challenges on the way, especially at Dawlish. As here you got this sharp right blind bend coming up that you need to use the middle of the road to get around really, and you just got to hope that the double-decker bus isn't coming the other way, as it's immediately then followed by the pinch point and then a sharp left. But this sharp left is a bit easier because you've got the road hatchings in the middle you can use. So as you can see here, I can use that to easily get around the traffic. And at the other side of Tamouth, we go over the River Tame over two separate bridges, the Tamouth Bridge and the Sheldon Bridge. So it's about to come a little bit sticky in a moment as well, because we have this van here on the right unloading out of a shop. It's obviously not been causing much problems in traffic anyway, but of course I've got a string of traffic behind me, and as we come around to these temporary traffic lights that are just around the corner, there's a coach coming the other way, which also has a string of traffic behind. So I'm just stopping short to let this coach get through in the gap, but of course he's going to go around the bend and the van will be on his side of the road, and of course we've got the cars on behind me as well, which isn't going to help. So it comes a bit of a checkmate situation in a moment, but we get through eventually anyway. It doesn't take that long. And dropping into Torquay, stuck in some traffic from these traffic lights here. Some work's going on by the harbour side. Bus stops are out of use, but we don't use the bus stops here, even if they were open. We have a dedicated drop-off point off by the Princess Theatre, which is basically around the corner, so not far from the centre. So that's the passengers dropped off. Gave him 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 2 hours at least anyway, here to walk around. So off to the coach park now, which is anywhere near the town. It's about 1.5 miles away. Actually, it's more in Tor than Torquay. It's called Torbay Coach Station Car Park, if I remember rightly. It's right at the top. So just going to park up for 1.5 hours before going back down to pick them up. I was also amazed that I was the only coach there, considering the amount of coach bays. But, still, that was good. Paid for the parking for the couple of hours. It's about £11.90. So now going back to the pickup point, I need to turn round to be facing the other way. So luckily I don't need to go through the big traffic jam for the temporary traffic lights, because I'm turning around here. So I'm going to spin it around the roundabout and then pick up the passengers and head our way on the short journey to Paignton, which again is just a short trip down the A379. So nothing much to report on the short drive down, just this bit of a tight squeeze past this lorry and the cars on the other side, but made it through okay, and then we forward on to just past Paignton train station as we drop outside the Tourist Information Centre. So this was more like their main stop and lunch stop here, so off from memory we had just short of 3 hours here, I think, and yeah, afterwards went to the coach park, which is outside of Paignton. It's actually in Goodrington. The new coach park as it is now, the old one has been torn down and demolished. So So this is now the coach park. Again, it's outside of Paignton, outside the centre. Wasn't too worried about going into town, even though it would have been easily done, I think, by the amount of buses that were going on the main road. So parked up and then took the short walk to the Brewers Fair to have a latte, although it was one of those unlimited deals, so I had a couple of those. And then on the way back, stopped at the bridge that goes over the Heritage Railway line to watch the steam train go to Kingsway. So then later on, time to pick up the group and head back to the hotel. Slightly different routes, not taking the route through Torquay and avoiding the roadworks at Sheldon. You come down the main road and then across back through Teignmouth and Dawlish. So coach parked up, didn't do any filming at this point, so straight to the evening now. We'll cover the dinner, which we didn't do yesterday. On screen now is the sample menu. This changes day by day, but the starters and desserts are ordered, given to the table, but the mains are a carvery style, and that was every day as well. So for starters, I went for the Brussels pâté, which is very nice. Equally as nice was the mains, which was the pork loin with the apple sauce and the choice of vegetables. And then dessert was this Coupé Edna May. Honestly, never heard of it. It's basically an ice cream with these cherries underneath and the 2 wafers there as well. Very, very nice. Highly recommended if you see that on a menu at all. It's the first time I've seen it come up, to be honest. So that's the end of day 2, and it brings us into the next day. A day trip to Sidmouth and the Donkey Sanctuary. So started off with a quick breakfast and then got upstairs and got ready and headed out to the coach. And it was a nice wet day this morning, so I was getting wet doing the outside walk round checks, and also parked a bit too close to the grass there as well, so I was tramping that inside. So yeah, that was a good start. So having discovered leaving the coach park area and taking the first left wasn't a good idea. It was doable but very tight, as you remember. So tried a different way. Couldn't use the middle road because the way the cars were parked, so tried the bottom. Wasn't sure if it was doable with that car there. Sometimes I think if I can, I like to try. Also do it very carefully, making sure I don't hit anything. If it comes to the point where I know I'm going to hit something, then obviously I'll abandon that idea, which was the case in this one. I was either going to hit the wall or the car in front, so decided that wasn't really going to work. So we thought actually instead I'd go back into the coach park, but back into a road that's behind, and then I can drive straight forward. Then picked up the passengers outside the hotel and we set off at about 9:30, straight off to Sidmouth, back up through Starcross on the A379, skirt round Exeter and then across the A3052 to Sidford, and then drop down into Sidmouth. So dropped off at the set down point up by the seafront and gave them 3 hours here. Again, if I remember rightly, had enough time to look around and have some lunch, and then drove off to the coach park, which isn't far away. It's just up this hill, round to the right, and then the coach park is off to the left. So with the coach park not being that far away, decided to take a walk down into the town. Have a stroll across the front, look around the shops, and found a cafe as well to have a latte. And walk back to the coach and then set off to pick up the group. Easy enough to pick them up the same side of the road. Just turn left out the coach park, end of the road turn right, and you've done a sort of loop then. Brings you back to the seafront. Left here on time and set off for the short journey to the donkey sanctuary. Basically we take the route as if we're going to the coach park, but then past the coach park straight into the end of the road, turn left, and that brings us up to Sidford, and then we're going to turn right back on the A3052 for a short distance to the donkey sanctuary. Got here in plenty of time, running a bit ahead of schedule. Got here at 10 to 2, was expected to get here at 2, so that was good. Gave them a couple of hours here to have a look around, and this was their last stop as well before we go back to the hotel. And being parked outside the front, I thought we'd take a look around. I've been here before with a private hire group, but it was wet, very foggy and very cold as well, so took the opportunity to look around this time. If you're thinking of visiting here, it is free, by the way, because they are a charity. All they ask for is donations, and as coach drivers you get the value of £10 of food and drink in the cafe as well. So the route back to the hotel is just basically the routes we did this morning in reverse, down the A3052, skirt Exeter, and then the A379 back into Dawlish. It's the passenger dropped off and then parked up and decided to do some of the windows. It's mostly just a bit of head marks and hand marks on the glass. For this I use Astonish window and glass cleaner, and then just buff it off with newspaper. And then after that, lock up and head back into the hotel. Get outside the rain. It's started to rain heavily now, and get ready for the evening meal. So this evening's offering, I can't remember the starters, but the main was this very nice chicken breast and this creamy sauce with vegetables, and the dessert, this very nice chocolate brownie sundae. Day number 4 was the busy day, the tour of Dartmoor and visiting 3 towns. So after breakfast and getting ready, start up the coach and do the usual walk round check inside and out. So setting up the sat-nav for the route through Dartmoor to our first stop at Princetown. Just finding Princetown on the map, just following the routes that we'll be taking down. Online there is a very useful file for caravans and coaches, so a lot of Dartmoor is unsuitable for coaches, especially 12-metre ones like the one we have. So there's Princetown, just setting that there, and by default I'd imagine it's going to send me the long way round via Plymouth, as it's just calculating the route, and yeah, as expected it's sending me down the bottom and then working up, but that's not the route we want. We want to go through Moreton Hampstead and 2 Bridges, which is the route suitable for coaches. I mean, I say suitable, you'll see later on, it's I wouldn't say it's the easiest route. So just had the waypoint there, and it's sending me on the route that I wanted to go, just skirting south of Exeter, through Bovey Tracy, and then down the B3212 to Princetown. You can go through Newton Abbot. It's looking a bit busy traffic wise. I was just adding a waypoint here just to see what the time would be. The distance was shorter, but the time was a bit longer as well. So I decided we'd go on the original route that I planned to use anyway, just south of Exeter, as I said. After that's done, moving up to the front of the hotel. Getting out here was a bit easier this time. Took the bottom road. The silver car wasn't there this time, so it was a bit easier to manoeuvre around. So only had to do one shunt anyway to get around the black car, but that was easy enough. So it's a earlier start today. The other 2 days we've been leaving at 9:30, and today we're leaving at 9 AM because it's as I say, it's a busy day. We've got 3 towns to do, and the tour of Dartmoor as well. And I want to get back for about 5:30, 5 o'clock in that window, so it gives them time to get ready before dinner. Timings on these tours are all done by crew or the drivers. So it's up to me to sort of work out, reasonable times at each location. So with 3 towns to visit in the day, it was a bit difficult to work out. The second stop, Tavistock, I wanted to give more time at, and we also had Oakhampton, which, to be honest, could have done without, but it's on the itinerary, so we decided to have just an hour there. So it's an hour at Princetown, 2 hours at Tavistock, an hour at Oakhampton, and then back to the hotel. So further down, past Bovey Tracy on the A382, this is where it starts to get a bit interesting, as it starts getting narrow and twisty. But just by chance I caught up with this coach, which transpired to be a coach from Scotland that's on a South Devon tour. So this was sort of paving the way for me in a way, creating a path and dealing with all the cars. So obviously here I'm hanging back in case it needs room to reverse anymore, but just letting these cars go through. You think it's more of a B road than a road, but no, this is still on the A382. I'm trying to keep pace with the coach, but I'm trying to not get too far but not too close either. I'm trying to set a balance where I can create a gap if need be, especially if I need to go backwards at any point, or if he or she needs to go backwards as well. And further down we come into Moreton Hampstead, where we join the B3212 in a bit. Now the direct road is off to the left, but there is a warning sign that says any vehicles over 10 metres should not turn left here. As you can see, that would be very tight, but to follow the yellow diamond signs, which brings you up to the north of the town, and then you turn left at a roundabout and back down again and turn right onto the B road. A sat-nav will take you to the left. Mine does, it says turn left there, but ignore that and just go straight on to the next roundabout. Out of Moreton Hampstead on the B3212. I've lost sight of the coach, so taking it more cautiously, not knowing where the what cars are going to come around the corners, and trying to find gaps for for cars to pass. I was slowing down for him, but he found a space for me to pass, so that was nice of him. And it wasn't that far down the road I caught up with the coach again, but I saw it stopped, so I could see the driver was having problems trying to pass some vehicles. I don't know how big the vehicles were, so I stopped to the bottom here to create a gap, not only for the traffic to pass once they do pass, but just in case the coach wanted to come back a bit down the hill as well. We're fast forwarding this bit because it took about 2 or 3 minutes for these vehicles to pass. After a few more narrow lanes to contend with, and then it's not long until we reach the cattle grid. It's a 40 mile an hour blank speed limit through here. Not that you want to be doing more than 40 miles an hour on the road before that anyway. Yes, it starts to get a bit more scenic now as we climb up to the high moor. And got to be careful of wildlife on the side of the road and in the road as well. And with that, and combining with the passengers, giving them time to take in the scenery, I tend to plod along at about 35 miles an hour. So when I've got these pull-in places like this, I can just pull in just to let the traffic pass, so I'm not holding anyone up. Here we have some ponies on the right. Not long past Bennett's Cross, so we're coming up to Warren House and the Warren House Inn. So I knew there was a lay-by up here. I don't know how busy it was going to be, but I thought I'd pull in to give passengers the opportunity to get off for a quick photo stop. We're well over halfway there now. Actually, it's only 7 or 8 miles from here to Princetown. So fantastic scenery there. But we are a bit behind schedule, about 15-20 minutes. But it's still nice for the passengers to enjoy the scenery. So further down the road, we're joining the B3357. We're turning right. You don't want to turn left because further down there's a restriction for vehicles over 10 metres. And we're going to go through the isolated location of 2 bridges, of which there is a hotel and, funnily enough, 2 bridges. Further down on the approach to Princetown, you can see the Dartmoor prison on the right. So here we are at Princetown, still about 15-20 minutes behind schedule. So really we're gonna give them about 45 minutes here. Although I don't need 45 minutes on the taco break, I can have that at Tavistock. But gives them enough time to go to the cafe, which is the building just on the right there, the cream building. I did call them yesterday just to pre-warn them that we're making a stop here, and most of our passengers might want to visit the cafe. We parked up at the back, locked up, and thought I'd stretch my legs and go to the cafe myself as well, and have a white coffee, which was very nice. So back on the road and heading off to Tavistock, which is only about 7 miles away from here. Just past the Dartmoor prison, and it starts getting narrow again on this part. And I noticed the traffic up ahead was getting bunched up as well. Wasn't sure why, but turned out that there's another coach up ahead. Not the one that we were following earlier. It's another coach from Bristol area this time, and was getting stuck in the traffic on another pinch point, and about 3 cars and a bike was trying to reverse to let the coach come through. Now on the B3357 all the way to Tavistock. You can probably just make out Tavistock up ahead in the distance. It's probably going to be more over to the left now of the screen. Soon we're going to go over the cattle grid, and it's a descent all the way towards Tavistock, so don't need any acceleration here, just using the retarder all the way down. So now into Tavistock. Have a couple of hours here to walk around and have some lunch. I'm going to sit down outside the Bedford Hotel, which is the building just there on the left on the Plymouth Road. Then I shall head off to the coach park, which is literally down the road. It's only about 300-400 yards down the road on the left. And seeing as it was a short distance from the coach park to the town centre, thought I'd take a walk, going via the River Tavi, which runs behind the coach park and has a path that goes to the town. So take a nice walk along here, had a look around the indoor market, and then a walk around the shops as well, and found a nice independent cafe that did a very nice cream tea. And then it was time to pick up the passengers a bit later on, and then head off to our last stop at Oakhampton, which is just a simple run up the A386. So there is no official drop-off point at Oakhampton, but doing some research before, I was said that pretty much use any bus stop in the town is fine, but ideally the one on West Street as the one we just pulled out of there, because it's a longer bus stop, so if there was a bus there I can fit in as well, or a bus can squeeze behind me quite easily. So give them about an hour here. We are still about 15-20 minutes again behind schedule, so it is a very brief stop. Not going to have a 45 here, not going to get any Tiger breaks in really. It's just a short stop at the coach park, but that doesn't matter anyway. I've got enough time to get back to the hotel because it's only about an hour and a bit from here. I was only parked up for about half an hour, if that, and I was on the way again to the pickup point. I was having a look at Google on how to get back to West Street to be on the same side of the road. There's not many ways of going around blocks or anything, so the easiest way of doing it was going out of town up to the next roundabout and coming all the way back in to pick up on the same side of the road that I set down on. It was getting busy in town now. Doesn't help that it's just gone 3:30, but still we left on time, and now it's the last leg back to the hotel. A direct route which via the A30 onto the M5 one junction and skirt round the side of Exeter, and then down the A379 through Starcross to Dawlish. Back at the hotel, dropped everyone off out the front and doing the usual routes now into the coach park. Now I've mastered that bit. So once I've parked up, getting the Henry Hoover out. This is the cordless one I bought. It comes with 2 batteries in its charger. Each battery lasts about half hour, thereabouts. It's not as powerful as the Henry that you plug into the mains, but it's enough to pick up crumbs and grass, you know. I wouldn't say you do a deep clean with it though. Once I've done that, put the tack on rest, shut everything down, lock the coach up, and get ready for the last evening meal. So for this evening's offerings, I opted for the chicken and bacon with croutons salad as the starter, and then the mains I chose the turkey and vegetables with gravy, and the dessert I can't remember, I don't have a record of it for some reason, but I have a funny feeling it was cheesecake, I think. And now we are on the final day, number 5, which is Dawlish to Westbury via a stop at Dorchester. So after breakfast and getting ready, and then doing the usual walk around tricks, then time to set up the sat-nav for Dorchester, because this will be their lunchtime stop and break on the way home. So just finding Dorchester on the map and finding the Topo Town car park, which is where the coach park is. I'm going to be sitting down there as well. So just checking the route over, making sure it's the route that I had in mind, but it wasn't. It's going to be on the A35 all the way from Exeter, so just going to add a waypoint in on this Axminster Road, because I want to go past Sidford and the Donkey Sanctuary, and on that road that we did on the Wednesday, I think it was. But it's still not quite doing the route that I wanted to, so I'm going to add another waypoint on the A3052 and hopefully it'll understand. And sure enough it did. So that's the route, side of Exeter, up the Axminster Road, and then on the A325 to Dorchester. After that's done, pull up to the front of the hotel and start loading these suitcases. Each driver has their own system, although most of us do the same system anyway. There's no set rules obviously, but to make it easier, we load the suitcases in a certain order by how they come off the coach. So we've only got 3 drop-offs on this one, so the suitcases that come off last will go towards the back, and the ones coming off first will be at the front. That way it makes it easier for unloading cases, and you're not having to, rummage around trying to find the bags. Do this on the load sheet we have in the folder. Not going to show it because it's got people's names on, but checking them off as they go onto the coach. And there we go, that's all the luggage and walkers on, and we're ready to set off. So on the road, making our last trip through Starcross, and we're a bit later in the day as well. We had a nice later start today, leaving at 10 AM. There's no need to rush too much today. It's only a couple of hours to Dorchester, so we had a good run there and got to Dorchester for about midday, just before, so had a good 2.5 hours there before we set off again. Had a walk around and got a coffee and a sausage roll as well. Looked around some shops, and then it was time to go onto the last leg up to Cartgate, which involves just going up the A37, and it's only about an hour away or so from here, So we were doing good for time as well, and our ETA was looking like we were going to get there ahead of schedule as well, so that was good. But despite the roadworks in Yeovil, we did have a good run and got to Cartgate on time for 3 PM, so had some of ours get off here. But those carrying on to Warminster and Westbury, they had a short break here, half an hour, just for leg stretch for them, and also because we couldn't get to Warminster until 5 at a minimum. This is because the drivers doing the feeders or doing school runs first, so they won't be able to get to us until 5 PM at the minimum. So here we are pulling into Warminster services, and despite my efforts of trying not to rush getting here, we still got here 5 minutes early, and there was no taxis waiting for us, but that was no problem. They seemed to turn up a few minutes later on. And then we are nearly back at the depot on our last drop. Coming up Slag Lane again through the bus gate, just as the D1 was due, but luckily with the Friday heavy traffic in Trowbridge, it was delayed by about 15-20 minutes, so I had a clear run through the bus gate without having to meet the bus. And here we are back at the yard. So that's not quite the end of the day yet. Once we've unloaded the last of the bags and our passengers, we then prep the coach for Sunday. Not for me, it's one of our drivers that is taking this coach down to Portland for a day excursion from the cruise terminal to Stonehenge. So first things first is to go to the Shell garage to fill up with diesel and fill up to the top. Last time it was done was before we left on Monday, and since we've done 430 plus miles I think in total, and the gauge is reading just over half a tank, so it's done very good on fuel this week. So that's just short of 300 litres in. So I've gone to pay for the fuel and then drove back to the yard, cleaning out the inside. That's doing the tables, handrails, wiping those down, armrests, do the windows, and empty the litter bins, and then finally doing the hoovering of the seats and the carpet, and then do the outside afterwards. Get the jet wash out, give it a rinse over first to get rid of the excess dirt, and doing the wheel arches and getting the muck off the mud flaps, and give it a brush with some wash and wax. Let's speed this bit up here. Doing the wheels with a hand mitt. Try not to use the brush, the alloys, and then I do the glass afterwards, especially if it's with the sun's been on it a bit, or it's a bit warm like today. It tends to dry on if you do it last, and you get some awful white marks on the glass, so I do that and then give it a rinse afterwards. And then blade the windows, and that's that section done. When I'm on my own I do each side in halves, but at the back and the other side to do yet as well. Then what's left to do then is put my stuff away and then park the coach in the yard. And that concludes this episode. So I really hope you enjoyed this. I know it's a long one and it's taken me forever to put this together, but if you'd like to see more of these diary tour versions, then please do let me know. Until then, I shall see you on the next episode. Take care. Thank you. Bye bye.